Hello everyone, we are students of NIT Raipur in Civil Engineering Department. This is team Rani Durgavati. Here we are presenting communication skill project. We are mimicking a Tedex video on the topic Your Personality and Your Brain by Scott Swaffel. So let me introduce my team members. This is Lokmanya Bhoi, this is Nidhi Mirza, this is Om Suryavanshi and this is Bhupendra Chandavanshi, and myself Dhananjay Ratri, team negotiator with cameraman Pramod Kumar Thakur. So here we start our video.
Thank you Scott, thank you Amanda for that flight we had and the authentic conversation. I am here to talk you with about the brain science of communication as is related to business on fire, igniting your business for growth, igniting you. And what do you in your business? What I want you to think about for a minute is, what does it take to do that? What will it take you to ignite your business? And to me, it's the science of communication, but really it's the science of self-awareness. How aware are you of your capability of doing? How well do you know yourself? How well do you know other people? It's about you. Pay attention to. So what I want you to think about just for a second is a question you have answered a million times in your life. Who are you? In business, you probably talk about your role. I am a painter. I am a consultant. I am a fireman, right? You might talk about your personal role, father, mother, sister. I'd like you to answer a little bit differently, and to help you, I will answer it a little bit differently. I'd like to answer if I can with an alliterative adjective. A word alliterative adjective is just an adjective that starts with the same sound as your first name. My name is Scott. My adjective would be smiling Scott. It would be standing Scott. It would be speaking Scott. It might be frustrated, frank, tired Tom, or because of the time, hurry Henrietta. Whatever it is, I'd like you to come up with it quickly and share it with people on your right and left. A word adjective that starts with the same sound as the first name. Describe you right now. Come up with it quickly and share it. Go ahead. Okay? If you did not come up with conversation that you have, but the reason I asked you to do it, probably something you did not do yesterday, or last week, or last month. It's not a way that you typically answer the question, which means you have to think about it. You actually have to use your consciousness brain to come alive, come aware, and come with something new versus just a traditional or a typically answer that you gave. But what it leans into is, who do you think you really are? It's about self-perception. How well do you know yourself, and how well do you came across to other people's? And it is the same I want you to think about when you first came aware, self-aware this morning. Probably for many of you, looking in the mirror, brushing your teeth, you started to think about, who am I and how I am going to show up today?
Who am I going to be today? As I interact with other people, I wonder what impact I will have on them. Take a look at my side. However, sometimes we look in the mirror and the image we see of ourselves is not what the rest of the world sees. If I were to ask you again in terms of just self-awareness, do I identify more with the kittens in the image, or do I identify more with the lion in this image? Where my kitten in the group? Okay, let me see. You just identify more with the kitten. Where are my lion in the group? Okay, wow. Take a look at difference. Okay, how do kittens vote? Mew, right? No one wants to be the first or only kittens. It's not funny. Lions are right there. It's a difference in personality. What I want you to start to pay attention to is, what are those unique differences in terms of personality for you? What's this world? By the way, no, really, everyone, what's this world? And what does the cow drink? So here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing, there are two parts of the brain. And my job is slice your brain in half today and help you realize that a big part of communication is driven by our subconscious. It's a part of your brain that loves to give you answer. It gives you the answer milk, But it was wrong answer, wasn't it? That's why your subconscious brain does frequently when you interact with other people. It makes assumptions and that are wrong. And you roll with it. What I want you to do instead, like you just thought about the alliterative adjective, is I want you to turn your brain on it. I want you to be concise of yourself, more concise of who you are and the impact that you are having on the other people, right? A focus of awareness. Who are you really? How do you really show up and interact with other people? And it's not got to start with knowing yourself and then knowing the other person. Once you know who you are and how you are weird, you need to be consciously aware of what Carl Jung said, the otherness of the other. Because if you are not, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Every one of us has millions of patterns in our subconscious brain and determine how we interact with other people. And if we does not challenge them through consciousness, stuff just happen to us and we think it just happens over and over again. And it's fate. We don't have control of it, but you do have control. Your conscious brain gives you the ability to change your outcomes. Based on your changing pattern in your subconscious brain, how do we do that? We have a new thought, we have a new idea, we authentically steal ideas, right? And pull them together. It's a risk and said it's in your toolkit right now. You have the ability to have a new thoughts at any time about anything in your life. You would like to be different, and switching your brain on having the thought creates a new pattern for you to hang on to. But it starts with knowing you and knowing others. So how have we done that over the years? How have problems done that? Heraclitus come up with a model 2500 years ago. It was very actively practiced in modern medicine at the time, but for over 2000 years we tried to define people by type, by categories. It's a way of knowing yourself and it's a framework.
It was very actively practiced in modern medicine at the time, but for over 2000 years we try to define people by type, by category. It's a way of knowing yourself and it's a framework. So what are we talking about here is with a conscious awareness, having a framework with you know yourself, how you show up and who you are, so that you can communicate with it to others. That's what it's for, that's the power of it. So that's the one model, there are many others in the world, especially in terms of business and igniting your business or lighting a business on fire, helping people to more self-aware. How many people you have been through same of models? There are listed here millions and millions of people, most of you as well. The power of this model is helping you figure out who I am, how I am wired, how do I communicate, because that's how I judge everybody in my world. If I am 7 feet tall, you are all short. I walk into every day, wonder why I work with so many short people, right? It's not about you being broken. It's about me needing a higher level of self-awareness. So how do I come up with that? Well, I want to share a model with you. One of many there are categorized. How are you wired? What's the unique personality that your brain think about its more favorite? You are determined, competitive, demanding. You love to get things done and you are task oriented. You are always in go mode. It leads with my fairy red. For 27 years, while I am driving the car and the light turns green, she says go every single time. Go, turn left, turn right. Go. That's high favorite red. You are all about getting stuff done. That shortcut is now. How about sunshine yellow? Does that resonate better with you? Energy laughing out loud. Because you are saying it in yourself. For all of you, in fact, pride. What they did the night before, what they had for lunch, what they are going to about someone specific. If you can't think of anybody, it's you. Okay, for yourself right now. Are you more focused or great energy? Task getting stuff done, relationships. Both are extroverted energies, both are notched and talk to think. Let me talk to the other two for a minute and actually trying to calm down and slow down a little bit. To sort of talk in the preferred style, some of you lead with the earth. Great. You are amiable, parent, caring, relaxed. You are brilliant listener.
To see where someone is going to take you without the need to interrupt in a fiery red way and get something done, or maybe the need to interrupt in a sunshine yellow way and make the story about you. The gift of brilliant listening is what's said and even what isn't said falls within that introverted feeling, amiable, caring, earth green, and the last one is introverted thing. Cool blue, analytical, cautious, precise. You want me to prove this concept to you? You would like to read more about me. You like to study, you like to analyze, and you like to go deeper. Think for a minute. Which one of these is more like you? And just share it with people on your right and left quickly. Which one do you think you lead with? Go ahead and tell them. Let me illustrate your point for you, because it speaks to the whole point that I am trying to make, which is about awareness, about being conscious. Realize that if you lead with sunshine yellow, you quickly told everybody you could get to, right? With energy and the enthusiasm. And you are sad that I cut you off already. If you lead with red, you turn to someone and said red. Why? Because it's like, now what? Let's get something done. Now I know. Let's get something done. If you lead with earth green, you're probably a little bit slower and more cautious to lean to the right or to the left to invite the person to share this information with you. If you lead with blue, you're not sure yet if that's right answer because you want more time to think and be structured and logical. But my point about communication is we need to know this about ourselves. We need to be self-aware because here's a risk. What if you overuse these gifts of communication energies? What does it look like if you overuse them? My wife believes that she is determined, strong and willed and purposeful when she tells me how to drive the car. I believe she is overusing that gift of red energy. And take a look. I believe she is aggressive, controlling, overbearing and intolerant. It's my perception of overuse of that energy. You can overuse all these energies. Overuse that wonderful caring earth green and you are docile, bland, plodding, reliant and stubborn. Bad green we call it. In fact, we like to say hell hath no fury like earth. Green energy scorn. Some of you lead with that earth green. You recognize that, right? Overusing your cool blue, thinking too much about something and not wanting to commit an action. Analysis paralysis. It is also a risk. And of course, even sunshine yellow can take on too far and move to excitable, frantic, indiscreet, flamboyant, hasty, out of control. So the challenge here in terms of being self-aware is how do you know when you are using the gift of your personality up to the right level? And do you actually know what you have gone too far? You may not realize is that if you are interacting with someone who leads with your opposite energy, unfortunately they tend to see you on this slide. Think about that for a minute. Your opposite energy, your opposite personality tends to perceive you in a negative and you don't even realize it's happening because you are actually in the middle of having your best day. It's about communication that gets complicated. Oh no, that's not funny. Here's the funny part. If you have put yourself in one of these quadrants, put yourself spouse in another one. How many of you think you are married your opposite type? Oh my gosh. What were you thinking? Opposites actually attract, they do. We are drawn to somebody who is very different than we are. we come together. It feels very whole and very complete. And we marry them, then we want to kill them for 40 years because they do everything differently than we do. I want to think about that spouse when you go home tonight. Think about the energy and they lead with the treat them that way. Treat them the way that their energy might suggest. If you think they lead with earth green, give them a hug for a little longer than normal. If they lead with fiery red, go home and offer to do a job. If they lead with sunshine yellow, invite them to happy hour or go out with friends and have some fun. And if they lead with color blue, send them a text or email and invite them to do password or Sudoku at home tonight. Meet their energy where it is. Think about where you are in the model. Think about energies that you led with. Think about your family and your children. This is my family, my wife. I said, this leads with fiery red. My youngest daughter, absolutely fiery red. Loves to focus and get things done. I led with yellow, so does my oldest daughter.
Look at her head, energy, enthusiasm, mine a period, disorganized, that's the risk of too much. Sunshine yellow. And look at my son, it's hard to see, but look closely. When we had this little exercise 10 years ago, we said quietly, can I wear more than one hat? And my wife, with fiery red said, what? No pick a hat. Maybe in a moment we become aware and said, Canon, wear as many hats as you want. Look closely. He said, I am green, but I am more blue. And he actually put two hats on. That's the uniqueness of personality. It's the way we gather information and the way we make decisions and how we show up in most everything we do. So be aware. The psychology underneath it is extrovert, introvert, thinking and feeling the psychology in psychology that helps you access who you are, how are you weird, and what makes you tick. It's about being aware that this exists so that you can be aware of it in other people. I will let you read this slide because this is going to happen as soon as we go to lunch. You are going to look at each other and you are going to see behavior. Just read it for yourself. I know, it's crazy, right? But it's true. You do one of these things, don't you do? And one of these things that other people do makes you crazy. There are probably your opposite type. Is not it funny how we do it? I should probably have one more for the person who learned it pretended to hit the open door button. Maybe that's bad rate. I don't know. The point behind what I am saying is, think about how you are weird and how you show up in terms of lightning your business and having more success in that area. How much you contribute, whatever role that you play. It's function of your personality and where you fit in our model. And if you really want to expand that impact, then think about in terms of leading others. How can you have a greater impact? Because there's natural position you hold within models like this. You are natural good at something and you struggle harder with other thing. Be aware, be focused. You know yourself, know other people, pay attention to other people as you interact with them for the purpose of understanding who they are and how they are weird. Take action so that you can move forward. But recognize that when you are having trouble with some else, hair secured from jug again. Everything that irritates us about other can lead to a deeper understanding of ourselves. You have kind of heard that them from some other speaker. If you are irritated by something someone else is doing, pause and reflect on it. That's the question. Like Reese was saying, why? Why is happening? What's going on? Because very likely. Attention. Be aware. Use your conscious brain to see who people really are. If you notice you are blinking, you are doing it. You are self-aware. It's that easy. Now tomorrow morning when you are brushing your teeth and looking in the mirror, I hope you have at a little moment of self-awareness again. I don't want to you think of me, but think about blinking. Look in the mirror and say, wow, I am aware. I am going to aware of everybody that I meet today. That's the plan. Focus on other. Know your unique personality style. Use whatever model helps you. Everyone in here is unique from everyone else. Everyone bringing as a gift. Everyone bring a unique personality and they are doing for you to notice it. Just like you are dying to be communicated within your preferred style. So is everybody else. Give them that gift, take action and make a difference.
This talk centers around the importance of self-awareness and effective communication, especially in personal and professional relationships. It begins with a simple but insightful exercise, describing oneself with an alternative adjective like joyful Jane or creative Cherries. This encourages reflection on current thoughts and emotions, setting at the tone for deeper self-awareness. Much of human behavior is guided by the subconscious mind, which operates automatically and often makes assumptions. A quick wordplay game using milk and silk demonstrates how easily the mind can jump to incorrect conclusions. Overcoming these patterns requires engaging the consequence mind, thinking intentionally, questioning assumption, and becoming more mindful of how thoughtful influence words and actions. A major theme of the talk is understanding different personality styles using the Insight Discovery model, which is based on 4 color energies. First, fairy red, energetic, determined, and goal focused. The style is action driven and thrives in fast paced environment. However, it can come across as aggressive or impatient when not balanced. Second, sunshine yellow, enthusiastic, sociable, and spontaneous. This energy begins optimism and warmth but can sometimes lack focus or consistency. Third, earth green, supportive, calm, and empathetic. People with this style are great listeners and value harmony. However, they may avoid conflict or resist change. Fourth, cool blue, analytical, precise, and thoughtful. This energy is detail oriented and value structured. Overzealous can lead to overthinking or emotional detachment. Each person has a unique blend of these 4 energies, often with one dominant style. Understanding will help people communicate more effectively, both by recognizing their own tendencies and by adapting to other preferences. Differences in communication style often lead to misunderstandings. What one person sees as enthusiasm, another might view as overwhelming. One might value speed while another needs time to think through. Recognizing and respecting these differences builds strong connections. The concept of the otherness of the other, inspired by Jungian psychology, highlighting how each person sees the world through a different lens rather than judging these differences. Embracing them as a strength leads to more productive and respectful interactions. Personal stories are woven throughout the talk to illustrate these points. One example shows how personality styles play out in everyday life, like a partner who takes charge and communicates directly, or a child who questions rigid labels, reminding us that people are complex and fluid in their behaviors. The idea that opposites attract also features prominently. While contrasting energies can cause friction, they often bring balancing when there is a mutual understanding. A relationship between a highly organized, detailed driven person and a free spirit Spontaneous one may have tension, but also the potential of growth and competency. Ultimately, the message is clear. Self awareness is the foundation of all effective communication. Understanding one's own behavior and the behavior of the other leads to better collaboration, less conflict, and stronger relationships, whether at home or in the workplace. In summary, the key lessons are: be aware of your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Identify your dominant communication style and its impact. Recognize and adapt to the style of others. Embrace differences instead of judging them. Use self awareness to create meaningful and effective connections. Success in the communication and leadership begins with the ability to see clearly, both within and in others.